He who would learn to fly one day must first learn to stand and walk and run and climb and dance. One cannot fly into flying. Nietzsche said that. And today, I'm going to show you the 7 types of people who will make sure you never even learn to crawl toward your own power. Give me some of your time, and I'll expose the 7 parasites who are destroying your peace right now. Not because they're evil, but because Nietzsche understood something that will obliterate your worldview completely. They need your weakness to survive. They feed on your chaos like vultures. They require your failure to feel alive. And if you can handle having your illusions torn apart, if you can look at your life and recognize these bloodsuckers without making pathetic excuses for them, then something will shatter today. You'll see why your peace keeps getting butchered, why your energy keeps getting devoured, why every time you try to build something, some parasite comes along to tear it down. Nietzsche didn't write about these people so you could forgive them. He wrote about them so you could spot them early, execute them from your life, and stop being a feeding ground for psychological vampires who will drain you dry and leave you a hollow shell wondering what the hell happened. Let me start with something that's going to cut you deep. Right now, as you're watching this, at least 3 people in your life are actively destroying you. And you've been calling it love, calling it loyalty, calling it family, when what it really is you being too weak, too naive, too pathetic to see that you're being used. Type 1, the emotional terrorist. You know exactly who this cockroach is. The person who threatens to fall apart every time you try to do something for yourself. Nietzsche called these people the last men, those who have given up on their own power and now exist only to drain others. When you want to start a business, they suddenly have a mental breakdown. When you want to move cities, they develop mysterious health problems. When you try to set boundaries, they threaten suicide or disappear forever. They've weaponized your empathy like a loaded gun pointed at your dreams. And you fall for it every single time because you think you're being noble. You think you're being a good person. But Nietzsche would spit in your face and tell you the truth. You're not helping them, you're enabling their emotional addiction. You're not being kind, you're being a drug dealer, and their drug is your attention, your energy, your future. They don't want to be saved. They want to make sure you never become powerful enough to abandon them. They'd rather drag you into hell than do the work to climb out themselves. Nietzsche saw this as the slave mentality in its purest form, using weakness as a weapon. But here's what's really going to destroy you. They're not victims, they're predators. And they've studied you like a science experiment. They know exactly which buttons to push to make you drop everything and come running. And if you're recognizing someone right now, comment terrorist below because we need to know how many people are dealing with this manipulation. Type 2, the success saboteur. This maggot is more dangerous because they're subtle. Nietzsche warned about these people in his concept of ressentiment, the burning envy that poisons everything it touches. This is the person who cheers you on when you're planning, but finds problems the moment you start succeeding. Your new job is too stressful. Your new relationship is moving too fast. Your business is too risky. Your friends are changing you. They loved you when you were potential. They hate you when you become actual because your success makes their failure obvious. Nietzsche understood that some people need you to stay small because your growth reminds them they're shrinking. Your wins make their losses unbearable, so they disguise their envy as concern. They package their sabotage as protection. They'll never tell you to quit directly. They're too smart for that. Instead, they plant doubt with innocent questions. Are you sure this is sustainable? What if it fails? Don't you think you're moving too fast? And because you trust them, you start second-guessing yourself until you're paralyzed. And here's the part that will make you sick. They celebrate when you fail. They hide it behind fake sympathy, but inside, they're rejoicing because you're back where they need you. Small, weak, dependent, manageable. But wait until you see what Type 3 does to your energy.
Type 3, the energy vampire. Nietzsche called these parasites the exhausted ones, people who survive by draining the life force from others. You know this leech, the one who calls to dump their problems but vanishes when you need support, who shows up uninvited and stays for hours complaining but goes silent when you share anything. They've turned you into their emotional garbage disposal. They don't see you as human. You're a free therapy session, a walking dumping ground for their toxic emotions. And the most disgusting part is they've convinced you this is friendship. Every conversation is the same. They talk for hours about their drama, then suddenly have to go when you need them. They remember every detail of their own problems, but forget everything important in your life. They need your energy, but never give any back. Nietzsche would tell you these people are spiritual parasites. They don't want solutions because then they'd have to take responsibility. They want sympathy. They want someone to feel sorry for them so they can feel important without doing anything. And you enable this because you think you're being good. But you're teaching them that your time and energy are worthless. You're training them to see you as a resource, not a person. If you're recognizing these people in your life, hit that subscribe button because you're going to need the next videos to learn how to destroy their power over you completely. But the next type will make you understand why you can't say no to any of these people. Type 4, the guilt manipulator. This is the masterclass in psychological warfare. Nietzsche saw this as the ultimate expression of slave morality, turning guilt into a weapon of mass destruction. The person who makes you feel like Satan for having boundaries, who turns every no into evidence that you're selfish. They've weaponized guilt and turned manipulation into an art form. When you can't lend them money, you hate poor people. When you can't drop everything to help them, you don't care about anyone. When you choose yourself for once, you're a narcissistic monster. Nietzsche understood that these people can't create their own power, so they control yours through emotional blackmail. They make your self-care into a personal attack. Your success becomes their oppression. Your happiness becomes their suffering. The really sick part is they do this while playing victim. You're too busy, too successful, too happy, too free. Your ability to say no becomes evidence of your cruelty. Your boundaries become proof you don't love them. And it works because you're decent enough to not want to hurt anyone. So you give in. You say yes when everything inside you screams no. You help when you need help. You choose their comfort over your sanity. But here's what will blow your mind. They know exactly what they're doing. Every tear is calculated. Every guilt trip is strategic. They've turned emotional manipulation into a science. And you're their lab rat. And Type 5 will show you how they compete for your destruction.
Type 5, the comparison competitor. Nietzsche wrote extensively about this type, the person driven by what he called the spirit of revenge against life itself. This parasite turns every conversation into a contest you never signed up for. If you got promoted, they got a better one. If you're tired, they're dying. If you have problems, theirs are apocalyptic. They cannot celebrate your wins because your success makes them feel like failures. They cannot comfort your losses because your pain steals attention they think belongs to them. Everything is a competition, and they have to win, even when nobody else is playing. These people are poisoned by envy so deep it's rotting them from inside. Nietzsche saw this as resentment in action. They can't build themselves up, so they tear everyone else down. They can't create, so they compete. They can't grow, so they compare. And the insidious part is they force you to compete, even when you don't want to. They turn your achievements into attacks on them. They make your happiness about their misery. You start editing your good news, hiding your wins, dimming your light so they don't feel dark. You sacrifice your joy to
to protect their ego. You make yourself smaller so they don't feel smaller. You become complicit in your own diminishment. But wait until you see how type 6 completely ignores everything you try to protect. Type 6, the boundary breaker. Nietzsche called this the will to power gone rotten. Instead of developing power over themselves, they try to exercise power over others. This is the person who has never met a no they couldn't turn into maybe, or a maybe they couldn't turn into yes. They ask for small favors, then expand them into major commitments. They invite themselves to your events. They show up uninvited to your home. They call at inappropriate times. They share your private business with strangers. They operate like your boundaries don't apply to them. They act like their needs are always more urgent than your comfort. Their emergencies always more important than your peace. Their desires always more valid than your limits. Nietzsche saw these people as colonizers who, instead of building their own kingdom, try to invade yours. And they get away with it because they make boundary violations seem like love. They don't respect your space because they miss you so much. They don't take no for an answer because they care too much to give up. They push your limits because they know you better than you know yourself. But respecting boundaries isn't about love. It's about respect. And someone who won't respect your boundaries doesn't respect you. Period. Someone who pushes past your limits is pushing you around. Someone who turns your no into negotiation is trying to own you. If any of these types are hitting close to home, drop a fire emoji below, because recognizing them is the first step to destroying their power over you. But the final type is the most dangerous, because they make peace impossible.
Type 7, the peace destroyer. Nietzsche identified this as the person who embodies chaos itself. They cannot exist in peace, so they make sure nobody around them can either. Drama follows them like a plague. Crisis is their natural state. They are fundamentally allergic to calm. They start fights, then act confused about why everyone's upset. They create problems, then complain about having to solve them. They burn bridges, then wonder why they're isolated. They break everything, then get angry that things are broken. Nietzsche would tell you these people are addicted to chaos because chaos makes them feel alive. Peace feels like death to them. Calm feels like boredom. Stability feels like prison. They need drama like other people need oxygen. And they'll drag you into their chaos whether you want to be there or not. They'll pick fights with you to feel engaged. They'll create emergencies so you have to save them. They'll sabotage peaceful moments because peace makes them uncomfortable. You cannot have peace while these people contaminate your life. You cannot have calm while they're creating hurricanes. You cannot have stability while they're detonating bombs under everything you build. Now here's what's going to annihilate everything you thought you knew about these people. Nietzsche understood that they know exactly what they're doing. This isn't unconscious behavior. This isn't accidental destruction. They have studied you, mapped your weaknesses, identified your triggers, and they use that intelligence to control you. The emotional terrorist knows that threatening suicide will make you abandon your dreams. The success saboteur knows that expressing concern will make you doubt yourself. The energy vampire knows that playing victim will make you feel obligated. The guilt manipulator knows that shame will make you comply. The comparison competitor knows that making everything a contest will make you shrink. The boundary breaker knows that persistence will eventually wear you down. The peace destroyer knows that chaos will force you to focus on them. They are not innocent. They are not confused. They are strategic predators who have turned emotional manipulation into warfare, and you are their primary target. They have weaponized your empathy, your kindness, your love, and they use those weapons to destroy your life. And the reason this works so perfectly is because you still believe they love you. You still think their manipulation comes from caring.
You still make excuses, give them chances, try to fix them, hope they'll change. But Nietzsche would grab you by the throat and force you to see the truth. If someone loved you, would they systematically destroy your peace? If someone cared about you, would they sabotage your success? If someone wanted the best for you, would they drain your energy, manipulate your emotions, and weaponize your empathy against you? The answer is so obvious it's insulting, but you don't want to see it because seeing it means admitting that people you trusted have been using you. It means accepting that relationships you thought were love were actually power struggles. It means recognizing that you've been giving your life away to people who see you as a resource, not a human being. Here's what you need to understand about all 7 types, and this is going to hurt. They're not going to change. They're not going to wake up one day and stop being parasites. This is who they are. This is how they survive. This is their strategy for getting what they need from the world. Nietzsche said we teach people how to treat us. Every time you accept disrespect, you teach them that disrespecting you works. Every time you tolerate manipulation, you teach them that manipulation gets results. Every time you give in to emotional blackmail, you teach them that terrorism is effective. You are not helping these people by enabling their destructive behavior. You are not loving them by allowing them to use you. You are not being kind by sacrificing your peace for their chaos. You are just teaching them that destroying your life is an acceptable way for them to feel better about theirs. The hardest truth Nietzsche ever wrote is this: some people in your life right now need to be executed from your existence. Not because you don't love them, not because they're evil, but because they are fundamentally incompatible with the person you're trying to become and the life you're trying to build. You cannot negotiate with emotional terrorists. You cannot reason with energy vampires. You cannot set boundaries with boundary breakers. You cannot find peace with peace destroyers. Some people are just incompatible with your growth, your happiness, your success, your sanity. Nietzsche understood that the strong must separate themselves from the weak, not because they hate the weak, but because the weak will always try to drag the strong down to their level. It's not personal, it's survival. It's the difference between drowning and swimming, between dying and living, between existing and thriving. Your peace is not negotiable. Your energy is not unlimited. Your time is not replaceable. Your life is not a charity case for people who refuse to fix their own disasters. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions or enabling their dysfunction, or sacrificing your dreams for their comfort. Stop making excuses for people who destroy your peace. Stop giving chances to people who waste them. Stop loving people who use that love as ammunition against you. Stop being loyal to people who are disloyal to your growth. The people who belong in your life will support your peace, not annihilate it. They will add to your energy, not drain it like vampires. They will celebrate your success, not sabotage it. They will respect your boundaries, not break them like glass. They will enhance your life, not complicate it with endless drama. And the people who can't do that, who won't do that, who refuse to do that, need to be removed from your life like the psychological cancer they are. Not with hatred, not with drama, but with the cold surgical precision of someone who knows their worth and refuses to accept less. Nietzsche said that what does not destroy me makes me stronger, but he also knew that some things will destroy you if you let them. These 7 types of people are those things. They will destroy your peace, your energy, your dreams, your future, your sanity if you continue giving them access to your life. Protect yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Guard your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Choose your battles wisely, and most importantly, choose your people ruthlessly. Because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of people you allow in it. And right now, you're allowing parasites to feast on your potential. In my next video, I'll show you Nietzsche's brutal method to make these people disappear from your life forever. Don't let them destroy you while you wait. Subscribe now because your freedom depends on what you learn next. See you soon.